The old lab rat here. Today I want to talk to you about magnetic phone charging cables. This is the tip for my last two Android phones that I had. This is, I think, is called the micro USB. You can see it is directional. There's a difference between the top of it and the bottom of it. And it has a marking on it, but at night that's very difficult to see, so you try to fight it into your phone one way. If that doesn't go, then you fight it into the phone the other way, and then you finally get it. So that's a bother. Also a bother with these is it has these friction devices on it, these little things that hang down to try to grab some friction into your phone as you put it in so it doesn't slide out. Those often get worn out, or they lose their spring. They get pushed up in there, so you got to get in there with a pin and try to pry them back down and give them some more spring so that it'll hold itself in there. Plus, with all the jamming in and out of your phone, you'll wear out the little gold-plated pins that are inside your phone. The last two Android phones I had to throw them away just because the pins wore out. The rest of the phone worked excellently. So those are problems with this type of charging device. Also, if you have three different types of charging devices, like for three different phones, you can have three different plugs hanging around. Well, this is one of the advantages of having the magnetic phone charging cables. There's another problem too with this charging system, and I will use my GPS to describe it here. You can see the little charging port in there. If you take your phone and slide it into your pocket, you can get all kinds of debris in there that can plug it up, can bend your pins, can make it difficult to charge. But the magnetic phone chargers come with a little plug that you put into the hole to fill that. And you never have to pull it out, so it will not wear out the pins. And it plugs the hole so that lint and dirt cannot get in there. So here it is with the little tip put in there. It protects everything that's inside of it. And now comes the fun part, because when it comes to charge your phone, you take the magnetic tip and just stick it to it, just like that. When you disconnect it, you just pull it off. Here's one that comes in at an angle. It's off to the sides. Look how easy that is to plug or unplug. I mean, imagine taking your phone and just being able to do this to plug it in. Just slide it close enough. That is where they really come in handy. It makes it so useful. And many of these have got lit up LED ends on them. So charging is so easy. And because when you order, you can order a variety of different tips to it. So that way, if one phone is an iPhone and one is an Android or one is something else, each one has a different tip on it that is in the phone, but the standard charging area is all the same. So one cord can charge up all the different devices. You don't have to get a different cord for the different devices. Look how easy that is. And this is the magnetic part here. There is some magnetism that is absorbed into these metal parts, but this is actually the magnetic part itself. One thing you have to watch with these is, like in a car or a truck, you do not want this to get on the ground, because normally debris off the road will contain magnetite or iron, and the magnets will pick it up, and it's very difficult to get off there. And I am in the habit, and you can actually see on there a little speck of some kind of magnetic debris that's on there. I have to get that off because that will inhibit the charging process. And you learn after a while how to rub those things off. And every once in a while you'll get some that will go right down into the center down in there. And this has a little, you can see there's just a little bit of it in there, that black that's in there. And sometimes it doesn't bother, sometimes it does. But if you need to clean that out, then unplug your cord so it's not getting any power to it, and get down in there with a little pin and see if you can get that little piece of magnetite out of there. In a car or a truck, what you can do is hang this so that it does not touch the ground if you happen to let go of the cable. So that way you've got enough slack so it can move fairly freely, but it's not long enough to actually get on the ground itself. I did see occasionally in the house, these will pick up a little piece of metal. My wife had one that was acting up, and I found a little piece of a sliver of some fake jewelry that she had, and had to pull that little piece off of it. One day she was having problems with her phone, and it was, the power was going and not going and going and not going, and I looked really closely, and it was one little strand of her hair was between the charging tips here, so it wasn't getting a direct connect. Now, some of these devices that they sell them so you can also transfer data to them through them. They've got multiple pins, and some get sophisticated and they will bend in all sorts of directions. I do not like the ones with the multiple pins for the data, because the more moving parts you have in there, the more possibility of things that are going to go wrong. And I do not like the ones with the swivel heads, because again, the more moving parts you have in there, the more things that can go wrong with them. But I am really enjoying these. And the other day I was speaking with an elderly lady, and she was having problems with just being shaky, and she was having problems charging her phone. And I set her up with one of these, and it works good now, because she was really shaky and had a hard time plugging it in. But now she just can just set it in like that, or set her phone down and just slide over to it. But that's what they are, magnetic phone charging cables.